Your oxygen sensor has one main job: measuring the leftover oxygen in your exhaust and reporting it back to your car's computer so it knows exactly how much fuel to mix with air for a clean, efficient burn. Most modern cars actually have 2, 3, or even 4 of these sensors. One before the catalytic converter, called upstream, and one after it, called downstream, on each bank of the engine. If your car has a V6 or V8, you've likely got 2 of each, one set for bank 1 and one set for bank 2. When even one of these sensors starts failing, it throws off that entire fuel calculation. And there are several warning signs your car will give you before it becomes a real problem. Catch it early, and it's a cheap, simple fix. Ignore it, and it can turn into a repair bill hundreds of dollars higher. So in today's video, you're going to learn the symptoms of a bad oxygen sensor, how to properly diagnose which one is failing, whether you can clean it instead of replacing it, how to replace it yourself step by step, and the one mistake that ends up costing people way more than they expected. Okay, let's start with the symptoms. Symptom 1. Check engine light. This is the most obvious one, and usually the first thing that gets your attention. If you pull the code with a scanner and see anything in the P0131 through P0167 range, that's almost always your oxygen sensor waving a red flag. Now here's the thing. A lot of people see that light and immediately assume the worst, thinking it's the engine itself. In most cases, it's not. It's this one small sensor sending bad information. And the good news is, that's a cheap and easy problem to fix. And if your check engine light is on for a completely different reason, check out our separate video, Top 10 Reasons Your Check Engine Light is On and How to Fix It. Link right up there. Symptom 2. Poor fuel economy. Think about your last few fill-ups. If you're suddenly hitting the gas station more often and nothing about your driving has changed, same commute, same driving style, that's a big clue. A failing sensor can feed your ECU incorrect readings, and your computer responds by dumping extra fuel into the engine to compensate. Over a few weeks, that adds up to real money out of your pocket. Symptom 3. Rough idle. Pay attention next time you're sitting at a red light. A healthy engine idles smoothly and consistently. But when your oxygen sensor throws off the air-fuel ratio, your engine can start to shake, stumble, or feel like it's struggling to stay running. If you've noticed your car feels rougher just sitting still, this is one of the first things to check. For a deeper look at other causes, check out our separate video, How to Fix Rough Idle and RPM Bounce Before It Gets Expensive. Link right up there. Symptom 4. Failed emissions test. This one catches a lot of people off guard. Since the oxygen sensor directly controls how efficiently your engine burns fuel, even a slightly faulty sensor can push your emissions numbers out of range. If you failed a smog check recently and had no idea why, there's a good chance this sensor is the reason. Symptom 5. Black smoke from the exhaust. If you or someone behind you notices dark smoke coming from your tailpipe, that's your engine running rich, burning far more fuel than it actually needs. More often than not, that's the oxygen sensor sending your ECU the wrong story about how much fuel is needed. Symptom 6. Engine misfires or hesitation. Finally, if your car hesitates when you hit the gas, or acceleration feels jerky and delayed instead of smooth, your fuel mixture is likely off. This is one of the very first components mechanics check, because it's such a common cause. Now here's the part most channels skip: how to actually confirm it's the sensor before you spend a dime on parts. How to diagnose it properly. Don't just replace the sensor because you're guessing. Here's how to confirm it. Step 1. Pull the code with an OBD-II scanner. Write down the exact code. This tells you which sensor, upstream or downstream, bank 1 or bank 2. Here's how to decode it. P0130, P0150. Oxygen sensor circuit malfunction. Bank 1 or bank 2. Sensor 1, upstream, before the catalytic converter. P0133, P0153. Oxygen sensor slow response. Bank 1 or bank 2, sensor 1. P0134, P0154. Oxygen sensor circuit no activity detected. Bank 1 or Bank 2, sensor 1. P0136. P0156. Oxygen sensor circuit malfunction. Bank 1 or Bank 2, sensor 2, downstream after the catalytic converter. P0141. P0161. Oxygen sensor heater circuit malfunction. Bank 1 or Bank 2, sensor 2. Step 2. Check for related issues first. Vacuum leaks, exhaust leaks, and dirty MAF sensors can all mimic oxygen sensor symptoms. Rule those out so you're not replacing a good sensor. Step 3. If you have a multimeter, back probe the sensor's signal wire with the engine warmed up and running. A healthy sensor should fluctuate between roughly 0.1 and 0.9 volts multiple times per second. If it's stuck flat, that's your confirmation. Confirmed it's bad? Before you spend money on a new one, there's actually a cheaper option worth trying first: cleaning it. It doesn't always work, but when it does, it saves you a trip to the parts store entirely. Can you clean it instead? Here's the truth. Cleaning an oxygen sensor isn't a universal fix, but in the right situation, it absolutely can work. If your sensor is contaminated with carbon or oil residue, usually from a rich running engine, a small oil leak, or just general buildup, a cleaning can restore its accuracy. But if the sensor is simply old and worn out, or poisoned by silicone from bad gasket sealant, cleaning won't bring it back. At that point, you're just delaying the inevitable. Here's how to try it safely. Step 1. Remove the sensor. Disconnect the electrical connector first, then use an oxygen sensor socket to unscrew it counterclockwise. We'll walk through this in more detail in the replacement section coming up, but for now, that's all you need to get it out. Step 2. Spray the sensor down with a carb cleaner or sensor-safe cleaner, focusing on the vents and slots in the outer cover where exhaust gases pass through. Step 3. Let it soak for a while, then spray it again. Repeat this a couple of times to work as much of the built-up gunk out as possible. Avoid anything abrasive, and never touch the sensing tip with your fingers. Oils from your skin can recontaminate it. Step 4. Let it fully air dry before reinstalling. Any leftover moisture can throw off your readings the moment you start the engine. Step 5. Reinstall it, clear the code, and take it for a drive to see if the symptoms return. If the symptoms come right back within a few days, that's your answer. The sensor is worn out, not dirty, and it's time to replace it for good. If cleaning didn't do the trick, don't worry. Replacing it yourself is still one of the easiest sensor jobs on the entire car. Here's exactly how to do it. Before we get our hands dirty with the replacement, we'd love it if you could hit that like button and subscribe to MotorMinds. Your support is what keeps these videos coming. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to the video. How to replace it yourself. What you'll need: an oxygen sensor socket. This is a special socket with a slot cut into it so the sensor's wire can slide through. Penetrating oil, safety glasses, a breaker bar or cheater bar for leverage. And your new sensor, matched exactly to your make, model, and sensor position. Step 1. Locate your sensor. Check your code to find out if it's Bank 1 or Bank 2 and Sensor 1 or Sensor 2. Bank 1 is whichever side of the engine holds the number 1 spark plug. Bank 2 is the opposite side. Sensor 1 is upstream, before the catalytic converter, and Sensor 2 is downstream, after it. Step 2. Let the engine cool completely. These sensors sit right in the exhaust path and get extremely hot, so give it time before you touch anything. Step 3. These sensors can seize onto the exhaust pipe from years of heat and rust, sometimes to the point where they feel almost welded in place. Spray penetrating oil on the threads and let it sit for a few minutes to help break that bond loose. Step 4. Disconnect the electrical connector first. Find the wiring harness, press the release tab, and pull the connector apart. Then, slide your oxygen sensor socket over the sensor, feeding the wire through the slot in the socket, and attach your breaker bar or cheater bar for extra leverage. Turn counterclockwise to break it loose. If it's really stuck, a cheater bar, basically a length of pipe slid over your ratchet handle, gives you the extra torque to crack it without stripping it. Step 5. Compare your new sensor to the old one to confirm it matches in length and connector type. Apply a small amount of anti-seize compound to the threads only, never on the sensor tip itself, so it comes out easier next time. Some new sensors come with a crush washer or are pre-coated with anti-seize already, so check before you add more. Step 6. Thread the new sensor in by hand first to avoid cross-threading, then finish tightening with your wrench or socket. You don't need to crank it down hard, just snug is enough. Step 7. Reconnect the electrical connector until it clicks into place, then clear the check engine light with your scanner. Step 8. Take it for a short drive. Give the ECU time to relearn and confirm the light stays off for good. That's genuinely all it takes. But before you go, there's one mistake I see people make constantly that ends up costing them a second sensor. The mistake to avoid. Don't ignore a failing sensor for months. A bad oxygen sensor doesn't just hurt your fuel economy. Over time, the excess unburned fuel it causes can flow into your catalytic converter and destroy it. A $40 oxygen sensor turns into a $600 to $1,200 catalytic converter replacement if you wait too long. Catch it early, and you save yourself a much bigger repair down the road. So, to recap, watch for that check engine light, dropping fuel economy, rough idle, and black smoke. Confirm it with a scan tool before you buy parts, and if it's bad, this is a 15-minute fix most people can do in their own driveway. If your check engine light is still on after this, it might be a different sensor entirely. Check out my video on the top 5 sensors that fail first, linked right here, to see what else could be going on. Thanks for watching MotorMinds, and I'll see you in the next one.